Ambassador Kim Dae walked through the long halls of the Galactic Council building. His footsteps made soft sounds on the smooth floor. The walls were made of a strange metal that seemed to change colors as he moved past. Everything here was built to show how important this place was. This was where all the different alien races came together to make big decisions for the galaxy. Kim Dae had been to this building many times, but today felt different. Today, the council would vote on something that could change everything. They would decide if humans could build new homes on 3 empty planets near the edge of known space. It was a big deal for his people. As he walked, Kim Dae saw the guards standing at their posts. They stood very straight and watched everything carefully. Each guard wore the same blue uniform with silver buttons. Each one carried the same type of weapon on their belt. But there was something special about these guards that most visitors never really thought about. Every single guard was human. Kim Dae had never really noticed this before. But today, as he walked past guard after guard, he started to count them. 10 guards in the main hall, all human. 15 guards in the side corridors, all human. 20 guards around the big meeting room where the council would gather. Every one of them was from Earth. This seemed very strange. Humans were one of the newest races in the galaxy. They had only joined the council 50 years ago. There were races here that had been part of the council for thousands of years. Some of these alien races were much stronger than humans. Some were much smarter. Some had better technology. So why were only humans allowed to be guards? Lee So-min was waiting for Kim Dae near the entrance to the council room. She was young and excited to be here. This was her first time at the big council meeting. She studied alien life forms and had read about all the different races that would be here today. "Ambassador Kim," she said with a small bow, "I have been looking at the guards here. Have you noticed something strange about them?" Kim Dae smiled, so he was not the only one who had noticed. "Yes, I have seen it too. They are all human." "But why?" Lee So-min asked. "The Vethrans are much stronger than us. They look like living crystals and can lift things that would take 5 humans to move. The Kelhari have 4 arms and can move faster than our eyes can follow. The Nephilim can change their shape and become like gas or liquid. Any of these races would make better guards than humans." Before Kim Dae could answer, Park Jin walked up to them. He was the head of human security for this meeting. His job was to make sure all the humans here stayed safe. Park Jin was a big man with serious eyes. He had been a soldier for many years before taking this job. "I heard you talking about the guards," Park Jin said. "You are not the first ones to ask this question." "So you know why only humans can be guards here?" Lee So-min asked. Park Jin looked around to make sure no one else was listening. Then he spoke in a quiet voice. "I know it is an old law, very old, but I do not know the real reason why this law was made." Just then, the big doors to the council room opened. A strange sound came from inside, like music mixed with the sound of wind. This meant the meeting was about to start. Kim Dae, Lee So-min, and Park Jin walked through the doors. The council room was huge. The ceiling was so high that Kim Dae could not see the top of it. In the center of the room was a big circle of seats. Each seat was made for a different type of alien. Some seats were very tall for the long Vethrans. Some seats had special air for the Nephilim who needed to breathe different gases. Some seats were very wide for the Kelhari who needed space for their 4 arms. Kim Dae took his seat in the human section. Around him he could see all the different alien races. The Vethrans looked like people made of blue crystal. Light seemed to move inside their bodies. The Kelhari looked like big insects, but they wore clothes and spoke like any other intelligent being. The Nephilim were the strangest of all. They had no fixed shape and looked like colored smoke that could think and talk. At the front of the room sat the council elders. These were the oldest and wisest beings from each race. They made the final decisions on all important matters. The oldest elder was named Vorn. No one knew exactly what race he was from or how old he was. Some said he had been here when the council was first started, hundreds of years ago. Elder Vorn stood up to begin the meeting. His voice was deep and seemed to come from everywhere at once. Today we will vote on the human request for new colony worlds. But first we have other business. A tall crystal being stood up. This was Bae Hyun, one of the veteran ambassadors. When he spoke, his voice sounded like music. Honored Elder Vorn, I have a question that many of us have been thinking about. Speak. Your question, Elder Vorn said. We have noticed that all the guards in this building are from the human race. This has been true for as long as any of us can remember. But we do not understand why. Humans are not the strongest race here. They are not the fastest. They do not have the best weapons or the best technology. So why are only humans allowed to guard the council? The room became very quiet. Even the usual sounds of breathing and moving stopped. Kim Dae felt his heart beat faster. This was a question he had wondered about, but he never thought anyone would be brave enough to ask it. In front of everyone, Elder Vorn was quiet for a long time. His old eyes looked around the room at all the different faces. Then he spoke slowly. This is a good question, Ambassador Bae Hyun. The answer is written in our oldest records. Perhaps it is time for the younger races to learn this history. He paused and looked directly at Kim Dae. The story of why humans guard the council is not a happy one. It is a story of betrayal and blood. It is a story of trust broken and trust earned. Lee So-min whispered to Kim Dae. What does he mean? Elder Vorn heard her whisper and smiled. Young human, your question will be answered. But first we must look at the old records. Records that have been locked away for 800 years. Records that show what happens when the wrong people are trusted to keep us safe. The elder pressed a button on his chair. Suddenly, holographic images appeared in the air above the council circle. The images showed the same council room, but it looked different. The walls were damaged. Some of the seats were broken. There were dark stains on the floor that looked like blood. This, Elder Vorn said, is what our council room looked like after the last time non-humans were allowed to guard it. This is why humans, and only humans, now stand watch over our most important meetings. Kim Dae stared at the images. What had happened here? What terrible thing had made the council decide that only humans could be trusted as guards? Elder Vorn looked around the room again. If you truly wish to know this story, then we must open the sealed records. We must remember things that some of us have tried very hard to forget. The question is, are you ready to learn why humans are the only ones we trust to protect us from ourselves? 3 days had passed since Elder Vorn showed the damaged council room to everyone. The vote on human colonies had been delayed while the council decided whether to open the old records. Finally, they had agreed. Lee So-min and Jung-woo would be allowed to read the sealed files. Jung-woo was older than Lee So-min and had spent his whole life studying history. He knew more about the galaxy's past than almost any other human. His hair was gray and his hands shook a little when he was excited. Right now, he was very excited. I never thought I would see these records, Jung-woo said as they walked down the stairs under the council building. Some of these files are older than human civilization. The stairs went down and down. The walls were made of the same strange metal as the building above, but here it looked darker. Small lights in the ceiling gave just enough light to see where they were going. The air smelled old and dusty. Lee So-min carried a special device that would let them read files written in any alien language. How far down do these stairs go? She asked. No one knows for sure, Jung-woo said. The council building was built in layers over many centuries. Some say the bottom levels go down for miles. Finally, they reached a big metal door. A human guard stood next to it. He was an older man named Choi Min who had worked in the archives for 20 years. When he saw them coming, he pressed his hand against a scanner on the wall. The door opened, with a soft sound. Welcome to the deep archives, Choi Min said. I must warn you, some of the things you will read here are not pleasant. There are records of wars, betrayals, and terrible mistakes. Are you sure you want to see them? Lee So-min and Jung-woo both nodded. Choi Min led them into a huge room, filled with machines that stored information. The ceiling was so high they could not see it in the dim light. Rows and rows of storage devices stretched out in all directions. The records you want are over here, Choi Min said, leading them to a section that looked different from the rest. These machines were older and covered with warning signs in many different languages. These files have been sealed for 800 years. Only the council elders have been allowed to read them. Yong-woo sat down at one of the machines and began to work. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. Soon words and pictures began to appear on the screen, but these were not in any human language. Lee So-min used her device to translate them. The first files they found were about the early days of the Galactic Council. Back then, there were only 5 races in the Council. Humans had not even been discovered yet. The Council met in a smaller building on a different planet. "Look at this," Lee So-min said, pointing to the screen. "It says here that the first guards were from a race called the Zelkari. They were warriors with 4 arms and skin like armor." Yong-woo found more files about the Zelkari. The pictures showed tall, strong beings that looked very dangerous. Their skin was gray and hard like stone. Each of their 4 arms was as strong as a human's whole body. They carried big weapons and wore no armor because their skin was already like metal. The Zelkari were perfect guards, Jung-woo read from the files. They were strong, fast, and loyal to their warrior code. For 200 years they kept the council safe from all threats. But as they read more, Lee So-min and Jung-woo began to find troubling records. Every 50 or 60 years, something bad would happen during a council meeting. Sometimes it was a fight between different races. Sometimes it was an attempt to steal important information. Sometimes it was worse. "Here's something strange," Lee So-min said. She had found a file about an incident 300 years ago. It says the Kelhari tried to release some kind of chemical weapon during a vote about trade agreements, but the file doesn't say why the guards didn't stop them. Jung-woo found another file about the Vethrans. This one says the Crystal People tried to break the council building by making their bodies vibrate at a special frequency. Again, no mention of the guards stopping them. They kept reading. The Nephilim had tried to change the air in the council room to make other races fall asleep during an important vote. A race called the Mokari had tried to use mind control devices on the council elders. Each time the attack was stopped, but the files never said how or by whom. "This is very strange," Jung-woo said. "All these attack attempts were stopped, but the records don't give credit to the guards. Why would they leave that part out?" Choi-min had been listening to them read. Now he walked over with a worried look on his face. "You need to read the files from 850 years ago," he said. "That's when everything changed." He helped them find the right files. These records were even older and harder to read. But what they found made both humans sit back in shock. The Zelkari were not just guards, Lee So-min read slowly. They were also spies. They watched the council members and reported everything back to their homeworld. Jung-woo found more files. It gets worse. The Zelkari home government was using the information to make secret deals with some council races while working against others. But the worst was yet to come. In a file dated exactly 800 years ago, they found the record of something called the Great Betrayal. The file was marked with warnings in 12 different languages. On this date, Jung-woo read, during a vote to decide how to share resources from a newly discovered planet, the Zelkari guards revealed their true purpose. Instead of protecting the council, they tried to take control of it. The file contained pictures and videos of that terrible day. Lee So-min watched in horror as the images showed Zelkari guards attacking council members. Their forearms moved, like lightning as they fought. Some council members tried to run, but the Zelkari were too fast and too strong. 27 council members died that day, Jung-woo read. The attack was only stopped when other races brought their own armies to fight the Zelkari guards. Lee So-min found another file that made her feel sick. It says here that the Zelkari had been planning this for years. They had weapons hidden all over the building. They had maps of where each council member would be sitting. They had even practiced the attack on their home world. But there was more. As they read further, they learned that the Zelkari were not the only race that had betrayed the council's trust. Over the years, guards from every non-human race had either helped with attacks or failed to stop them. The Vethrans guards knew about the sonic attack but did nothing because it was their own race doing it. Jung-woo read from one file. The Kelhari guards helped hide the chemical weapons because they thought it would help their people get better. Trade deals, Lee So-min read from another. The Nephilim guards actually helped change the air composition because they were ordered to by their government. Choi Min sat down next to them. He looked very tired. Now, you understand why the council made new rules about guards. After the Great Betrayal, they decided to try something different. What did they try? Lee So-min asked. They created the Great Trial, Choi Min said. For 100 years, each race was given a chance to prove they could be trusted as guards. Each race was tested to see if they would put the council's safety above their own people's interests. Young Woo leaned forward. What kind of tests? Choi Min pressed some buttons on the machine. New files appeared on the screen. These files will tell you about the tests, but I must warn you, what you will read next might surprise you. The tests showed something about humans that no one expected, something that changed how all the other races think about us. Lee So-min looked at the screen. The first file was titled, Great Trial Results Failure of the Veteran Test. The second was Great Trial Results Kelhari Inability to Maintain Independence. The third made her heart beat faster. Great Trial Results, Human Guards, Unprecedented. Results. What did humans do differently? She asked. Choi Min smiled, but it was a sad smile. That, young lady, is the most important question anyone has ever asked about our species. Lee So-min's hand shook as she opened the file about the Great Trial. Jung Woo moved his chair closer so he could read over her shoulder. Choi Min stood behind them, watching their faces as they began to understand what had really happened. This first part of the file explained how the Great Trial worked. After the Great Betrayal, the Council decided to test each race to see if they could be trusted as guards. The tests were designed by Elder Keth Morin, a being so old that no one remembered what race he came from. Each race was given the same test, Lee So-min read out loud. They had to provide guards for the Council for 10 years. During this time, they would face different situations designed to test their loyalty to the Council over their loyalty to their own people. Young Woo found a file that listed all the races that had been tested. The Vethrons went first, then the Nephilim, then the Kelhari, then 12 other races I've never heard of. Humans were tested last. Why were humans tested last? Lee So-min asked. Choi Min answered. Because humans were the newest race in the galaxy. Most of the older races thought humans would fail the test quickly. They thought humans were too weak and too selfish to be good guards. The file about the Veteran test made Lee So-min feel sad. The Crystal people had done well at first. They were strong and smart. They could see in the dark, and their crystal bodies could not be hurt by most weapons. For 5 years they were perfect guards, but then came their real test. A group of Veteran rebels attacked the council building. They wanted to stop a vote that would hurt their planet's crystal mines. The Veteran guards had to choose, help their own people or protect the council. The Veteran guards let the rebels into the building, Young Woo read. They said they could not fight against their own crystal song. The rebels destroyed important council documents before other security forces could stop them. The Nephilim test had gone even worse. The gas-like beings could change their shape and move through tiny spaces. They seemed perfect for security work. But when their government secretly ordered them to spy on council meetings, every single Nephilim guard followed the orders. The Nephilim guards recorded private council discussions for 3 years before anyone found out, Lee So-min read. They gave all the information to their home government, which used it to make secret deals with other races. The Kelhari test showed the same problem. The insect-like beings with 4 arms were incredibly disciplined. They followed orders perfectly and never complained. But this turned out to be their weakness. During their test, fake Kelhari military officers came to the council building with fake orders, Jung Woo read. They told the Kelhari guards to arrest 3 council members for crimes against the Kelhari people. The guards followed these orders without question, even though the orders made no sense. Lee So-min found files about 12 other races that had all failed their tests in similar ways. Some chose their families over their duty. Some followed orders from their governments, instead of protecting the council. Some were bribed with money or promises of power. Every single non-human race failed the test, Lee So-min said. They all put their own people first. That's not exactly right, Choi-min said. It's not that they put their own people first. It's that they could not imagine putting anyone else first. For most races in the galaxy, loyalty to your own kind is the most important thing. It's built into how their minds work. Then they found the file about humans. Lee So-min opened it with nervous fingers. The first thing she saw was a picture of a human she had never seen before. He was an older man in a military uniform. The name under the picture said Colonel Yun-tae, Human Test Group Leader. Colonel Yun-tae volunteered to lead the Human Test Group in the year 2387, Young-woo read. He brought with him 50 human guards from Earth's military forces. Like all previous test groups, they were told they would be protecting the Council for 10 years. The file showed that the human guards had not seemed very impressive at first. They were smaller than the Zelkari, weaker than the Vethrans, and slower than the Kelhari. Some council members complained that humans looked too soft to be good guards, but the humans had done their job well. For 3 years, they kept the council safe without any problems. They learned the building's layout quickly. They worked well with the alien technology. They were polite to all council members no matter what race they were from. Then came their first real test. Lee So-min read about it with growing amazement. A group of human diplomats came to the council building with a message from Earth's government. They told the human guards that there was going to be a vote about limiting human expansion in the galaxy. Earth's government wanted the guards to help them spy on the other council members to find out how they were going to vote. The human guards refused, Lee So-min read. Colonel Yun-tae told the diplomats that their job was to protect the council, not to spy for Earth. But the test got harder. The diplomats came back with direct orders from Earth's military command. They said the human guards would be court-martialed and sent to prison if they did not follow orders. Some of the guards would never see their families again. Jung-woo found Colonel Yun-tae's response in the files. The colonel told his men that they had 2 choices. They could follow orders from Earth and betray their duty to the Council, or they could stay loyal to their duty and accept whatever punishment Earth gave them. What did they choose? Lee So-min asked, even though she thought she knew the answer. All 50 guards chose to stay loyal to the Council, Choi-min said, even though it meant they might never go home to Earth again. But the hardest test was still to come. In the 7th year of the human test period, something terrible happened. A group of human terrorists somehow got into the council building. They had weapons and planned to kill several alien council members. They wanted to start a war between humans and aliens. The human guards faced an impossible choice. The terrorists were from their own species. Some of them were even from the same cities as the guards. But the guards' job was to protect the council members, even if it meant fighting other humans. Lee So-min read the battle report with tears in her eyes. The human guards had fought the human terrorists through the halls of the council building. Guard Captain Kim Tae-won had died protecting a veteran council member. Sergeant Park Hyun had given his life to save a group of Kelhari diplomats. Total 12 human guards died that day, all killed by other humans while protecting aliens. After the terrorist attack, the council thought the human test was over, Young-woo read. They expected the remaining guards to quit. They thought no human would want to keep protecting aliens after other humans had died trying to kill those same aliens. But that was not what happened. The surviving human guards asked to stay. They said their friends had died doing their duty, and they wanted to honor that sacrifice by continuing to do their duty too. The final test came in year 10. Choi-min said, Elder Kethmaran designed one last situation to see what humans would really do when pushed to their limit. Lee So-min found the file about the final test. What she read there made her understand why humans were the only guards allowed in the council building. The test was simple but cruel. A fake emergency was created that required the human guards to choose between saving a group of human visitors to the council or saving a group of alien council members. They could not save both groups. They had to choose between their own species and their duty. Every other race that had been tested chose to save their own people. It was natural. It was what any normal being would do. But the human guards made a different choice. They saved the alien council members and let the humans die, because that was their job. Even though the emergency was fake, their choice was real. That was the moment everything changed, Choi Min said. The council realized they had found something they never expected to find in the galaxy. What? Lee So-min asked. A species that could choose duty over blood. A species that could protect those who were not their own kind, even if it cost them everything. Jung-woo closed the file and sat back in his chair. So that's why only humans can be guards here. Not because we're the strongest or the smartest, but because you're the only ones who can truly be trusted to put the council's safety above everything else, Choi Min finished. Even above your own lives and your own people. The next morning, Lee So-min could not sleep. She kept thinking about what she had learned in the archives. She found Jung-woo in the hotel restaurant drinking coffee and staring out the window at the council building. I keep thinking about those human guards, Jung-woo said without looking at her. They chose to let their own people die to save aliens. How is that even possible? Lee So-min sat down across from him. I think we need to understand the science behind it. There must be a reason why humans are different from every other race. That afternoon, they met with Dr. Oh Min-jung, a human scientist who studied how different species think and act. Dr. Oh was a small woman with sharp eyes who had spent 30 years learning about alien minds. She had come to the council building as soon as she heard about the opened records. I have been waiting for this day for a long time, Dr. Oh said as they sat in her temporary office. I always suspected there was a deeper reason why humans were chosen as guards, but I could never prove it without seeing the test records. She had brought several thick books and a computer full of research data. Let me explain what makes human minds different from alien minds, she said, opening her first book. Most species in the galaxy have what we call programmed loyalty, Dr. Oh explained. Their brains are built to automatically put their own species first. It's not a choice they make. It's how their minds work. Jung-woo leaned forward. So when the veteran guards helped the veteran rebels, they could not help themselves. Exactly, Dr. Oh said. The veterans have something called crystal song consciousness. All veterans who share the same crystal frequency think and feel together. When the rebels sang their crystal song, the guards had no choice but to help them. It would be like asking a human to stop their own heart from beating. She showed them pictures of veteran brain scans. See these patterns? This is what happens in a veteran's mind when they hear their crystal song. Their individual thoughts shut down. They become part of the group mind. Lee So-min studied the brain scans. What about the other races? Dr. Oh pulled out more research. The Kelhari have hive discipline. They are programmed to follow orders from anyone they see as being above them in rank. They cannot question orders, even if the orders are wrong or harmful. She showed them videos of Kelhari behavior studies. Watch this Kelhari worker. When I tell it to do something that will hurt itself, it does it anyway because I am wearing clothes that make me look like a Kelhari officer. The Nephilim are different but have the same problem, Dr. O continued. They have collective consciousness. All Nephilim in an area share thoughts and feelings. If their government wants them to spy, all Nephilim guards will spy because the idea comes from the group mind. Jung-woo was taking notes quickly. So every alien race has some kind of mental programming that makes them choose their own species first? Not just their species, Dr. O said. Their family group, their government, their home planet. Whatever group they belong to will always come first. They cannot choose to put outsiders first because their brains are not built that way. So-min asked the question that had been bothering her all day. Then how are humans different? Why can we choose to protect aliens instead of other humans? Dr. O smiled and pulled out her most important research. This is what makes humans special. In the galaxy, humans have what I call individual moral flexibility. She showed them human brain scans. Look at these patterns. When a human faces a moral choice, many different parts of the brain become active. The human mind considers many options before deciding what to do. But other species have moral choices too, Jung-woo said. Not really, Dr. O replied. Other species have programmed responses. When a veteran faces a choice between helping a veteran or helping an alien, the Crystal Song programming automatically makes the choice. The veteran individual does not really decide. She pulled up more brain scans. But when a human faces the same choice, look what happens. The brain considers many factors: family loyalty, personal duty, abstract concepts of right and wrong, fear of punishment, hope for reward. The human mind weighs all these things and then makes a choice. Lee So-min began to understand. So humans are the only species that can actually choose to go against their natural instincts? Exactly. And more importantly, humans can form what I call chosen loyalties. Most species can only be loyal to groups they are born into. But humans can choose to be loyal to groups they are not part of. Dr. O showed them a study she had done with human soldiers. I asked human military personnel to imagine protecting alien civilians from human attackers. 73% said they would protect the aliens if it was their duty to do so. What about alien soldiers? Young Woo asked. I asked the same question to soldiers from 12 different alien races. 0% said they would protect aliens over their own species. Not because they are bad people, but because their minds cannot process that choice. At that moment, there was a soft knock on the door. A tall alien figure entered the room. It was Counselor Vex, one of the oldest Nephilim in the Council. His gas-like body shimmered as he moved. Dr. O, Counselor Vex said in his strange, whispered voice. I have been listening to your conversation. I hope you do not mind. Dr. O stood up and bowed slightly. Of course not, Counselor. We are honored by your presence. Counselor Vex's form shifted and became more solid. I wanted to tell you that your research matches what we have observed for many years. Humans are indeed unique among all species. We have met. He moved closer to the group. When I was young, I could not understand why humans were chosen as guards. My people are much better at moving unseen and gathering information. We seemed like better choices for security work. What? Changed your mind? Lee So-min asked. I watched a human guard named Lee Dong make an impossible choice, Counselor Vex said. A group of human diplomats threatened to reveal embarrassing information about my species unless the guard helped them spy on council meetings. What did Guard Lee Dong do? Young Woo asked. He told the human diplomats that he would rather die than betray his duty to the council. And he meant it. I could taste his emotions in the air around him. He was telling the truth. Counselor Vex's form became brighter. That was when I understood. Humans do not guard the council because they are ordered to. They do it because they choose to. And choice, I have learned, is the rarest strength in the galaxy. Dr. O nodded. That's the key difference. Every other species guards what belongs to them. Humans are the only species that will guard what belongs to everyone. But why? Lee So-min asked. Why did humans develop this ability when no other species did? Dr. O had been waiting for this question. She pulled out her final research paper. I think it's because humans evolved in a very dangerous world with many different groups competing for survival. Humans learned that sometimes you need to work with outsiders to survive. This taught human brains to be flexible about loyalty. Other species evolved in safer environments or in environments where their own kind was always the biggest threat, she continued. They never needed to learn to trust outsiders. Counselor Vex added his own thoughts. We Nephilim evolved as a group consciousness because our world required all our people to work together perfectly. We never needed to consider outsiders because there were no outsiders on our world. The Vethrans evolved their crystal song because their world was full of crystal formations that connected their minds, Dr. O said. They never had to learn individual decision-making. Young Woo was writing notes as fast as he could. So humans are unique because Earth was uniquely difficult to survive on? Exactly, Dr. O said. Humans had to learn to make alliances with different tribes, different cultures, even different species of animals. This taught human minds to be flexible about who deserves protection and loyalty. Lee So-min felt like she finally understood. That's why human guards can protect aliens from other humans. Our brains are built to make alliances with outsiders when necessary. Counselor Vex's form pulsed with what might have been approval. And that is why humans are the only species permitted to stand guard in council chambers. You are the only ones who can truly protect us from ourselves." 2 days later, the council was ready to meet again. But before they could vote on the human colony request, something urgent had happened. Ambassador Rael, one of the most important Kelhari council members, was in danger. Lee So-min and Young Woo sat in the visitor section of the council chamber, watching as the emergency meeting began. Kim Dae looked worried as he took his seat with the other human diplomats. Elder Vorn stood up to address the council. His ancient voice filled the great room. "We have called this emergency meeting because of a serious threat to one of our members. Ambassador Rael has been receiving death threats from extremists of his own species." A wave of shocked sounds came from the different alien sections. Ambassador Rael stood up slowly. He was taller than most Kelhari, with 4 long arms and the typical insect-like features of his people. But Lee So-min could see that he looked scared. "The threats began 3 days ago," Rael said in his clicking voice. "Members of the Kelhari Pure Blood movement have said they will kill me for supporting human expansion rights. They believe I am betraying our species by helping humans get new colony worlds." "What protection can we offer?" asked a veteran counselor, Elder. Vorn looked around the chamber. "Ambassador Rael has requested human guards for his personal protection. He says he trusts only humans to keep him safe from his own people." This caused a lot of discussion among the different species. Lee So-min could hear them talking in many different languages. Some sounded surprised. Others sounded confused. Young Kelhari diplomat stood up. "Ambassador Rael, surely you would prefer protection from your own kind. Kelhari guards are faster and stronger than humans. We know how other Kelhari think and act." Rael's forearms moved in what Lee So-min had learned was a sign of disagreement among the Kelhari. "That is exactly why I cannot trust Kelhari guards," he said. "Any Kelhari guard might agree with the Pure Blood movement. They might think I deserve to die for helping humans. But humans are the ones who would benefit if you stay alive," the young diplomat argued. "How do you know they won't let you die? To make the other races angry at the Kelhari?" Before Rael could answer, Commander Han Bitna stepped forward. She was the current head of all human guards in the council building. She was a strong woman with short gray hair and serious eyes. "With respect," Commander Han said, "that question shows that you do not understand how human guards think." She walked to the center of the chamber so everyone could see her. "Ambassador Rael is not asking for our protection because he trusts humans. He is asking because he trusts our duty." "What do you mean?" asked a Nephilim counselor. Commander Han looked around at all the different faces watching her. "Every human guard here knows that someday we might have to protect an alien from our own human government. We have all accepted that responsibility." Lee So-min remembered the stories from the archives about human guards who had died fighting. Human terrorists. She began to understand what Commander Han meant. "When a Kelhari guard protects a Kelhari counselor," Commander Han continued, "they are protecting someone who is part of their group. But when a human guard protects any counselor, alien or human, they are protecting an idea." "What idea?" Elder Vorn asked. "The idea that some things are worth protecting, no matter who they belong to," Commander Han said. "The idea that the Council's work is more important than the interests of any one species, including our own." Ambassador Rael spoke up again. "Commander Han is right. I do not trust humans as a species. I do not even like humans very much. But I trust that human guards will do their duty, even if that duty helps someone they do not like." Youngwoo whispered to Lee So-min. "He's saying he trusts human guards to protect him even though they have no reason to care about him personally." "Exactly," Lee So-min whispered back. "He knows human guards will protect him because it's their job, not because they like him." Elder Vorn had been listening carefully to everything. Now he stood up again. "This brings us to the real purpose of today's meeting. We have opened the old records and shared the history of why humans guard the Council. But do we all understand what this history really means?" The chamber became very quiet. Even the usual sounds of breathing and small movements stopped. 800 years ago, Elder Vorn said. We learned that most species cannot guard anything that does not belong to them. They cannot put abstract duty above blood loyalty. They cannot protect their enemies. He looked around at all the different species. This is not a criticism. This is simply how most minds work. It is natural and normal to protect your own kind first. But humans are different, Elder Vorn continued. Humans can guard things that do not belong to them. They can put duty above blood. They can protect their enemies if protecting enemies is their job. A veteran counselor asked, "Are you saying humans are better than other species?" Elder Vorn shook his head. "I am saying humans have a specific ability that other species do not have. Just as Vethrans are stronger than humans and Kelhari are faster than humans, humans have a unique mental ability." "What ability is that?" asked the same Vethran. "The ability to choose their loyalties instead of being born with them," Elder Vorn said. "Every other species is loyal to groups they cannot change. But humans can decide to be loyal to ideas, duties, and principles that have nothing to do with their birth or their species." Commander Han nodded. "That's why Ambassador Rael trusts human guards. He knows we chose to be loyal to the Council's mission. We were not born loyal to it. We decided to be loyal to it." Lee So-min felt like all the pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together. The archives had shown her what happened when guards were loyal to their own species first. The science had shown her why humans could choose different loyalties. Now she understood what that meant for the galaxy. Elder Vorn walked to the center of the chamber. The question that started all of this was simple. Why are humans the only species permitted to guard the council chambers? He paused and looked at every section of seats. The answer is not that humans are the strongest or the smartest or the best. The answer is that humans are the only species that can truly guard something that belongs to everyone. Every other species guards what belongs to them, Elder Vorn continued. Vethrans guard Vethran interests. Kelhari guard Kelhari interests. Nephilim guard Nephilim interests. This is natural and right for most purposes. But the Council belongs to all species. It cannot be properly guarded by any single species acting in their own interest. It can only be guarded by individuals who have chosen to put the Council's interests above their own species' interests. A young human in the diplomatic section raised his hand. Elder Vorn nodded to him. "Elder Vorn," the young human said, "are you saying that human guards have to be ready to protect aliens from other humans?" "I am saying," Elder Vorn replied, "that human guards have already proven they will do exactly that. The archives show that human guards have died protecting aliens from human attackers. They chose duty over blood." Commander Han stepped forward again. "Every human who becomes a council guard knows this truth. We are not here to represent humanity. We are here to represent the idea that the council's work must continue, no matter what any single species wants." Ambassador Rael made the clicking sound that meant gratitude in the Kelhari language. "This is why I trust human guards with my life. They are the only ones who will guard me because it is right, not because it benefits them." Elder Vorn looked around the chamber one final time. "This is the burden that humans have agreed to carry. They guard not just our bodies but our ability to work together despite our differences. And this," Elder Vorn said, "is why humans are the only species permitted to stand guard in council chambers. Not because they are perfect, but because they are the only ones who can guard an imperfect galaxy." The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Then, slowly, beings from every species began to show their approval in their own ways. Vethrans hummed their crystal songs. Kelhari clicked their approval. Nephilim glowed brighter. Lee So-min looked around at the human guards standing at their posts along the walls. They had not moved or changed expression during the entire discussion. They were just doing their job, as they had for 800 years. But now she understood what their job really was. They were not just protecting the council members from outside threats. They were protecting the galaxy's ability to work together from the galaxy's own natural instincts to put their own species first. As the council meeting ended and beings began to leave, Kim Dae walked over to where Lee So-min and Young Woo were sitting. "Well," Kim Dae said, "I think we got more than we bargained for when we asked that simple question." Lee So-min nodded. I thought we were just curious about the guards. I never imagined we would learn something so important about human nature. Young-woo closed his notebook. The strangest part is that humans never knew we were special. We just thought everyone could choose to be loyal to ideas instead of just to their own people. Kim Dae looked at the human guards who were still standing at their posts. I wonder if they know how much responsibility they carry. Commander Han heard him and walked over. We know, she said simply. Every human guard knows that we are trusted to guard something that does not belong to us. We are trusted to guard the future of the galaxy itself.